hello, hello. Welcome to Energy Geek Speak once again. I have been absent for a while on this train of offerings, and I am slowly creeping back in. But let me get to the heart of things. I do want to mention that you are watching Energy Geek Speak or listening to Energy Geek Speak here on the Evolve Within Love YouTube channel. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And as you can see, I'm playing with a lot of filters today, which I think is just so much fun and so joyful for me. So that's part of it. What I want to point at is the light. Sometimes it sparkles and glitters and gleams like this. Hopefully you can hear me well enough that I don't have to tweak the sound too much. So let me just say that I've been reflecting, and it's been what it has been during where we are now, during the 2020 autumnal season. Is an interesting time. And having some major insights, having gone through the archetype of Persephone and coming out on the other side, guns blazing. I wish there was a better metaphor, but I think that's the metaphor. So what let me get to the heart to it right away, is very much what this offers us. Uti art, O-U-T-I, Uti art. I love Uti and her artwork. Offered that for us. There is always a theme within duality. There is always this theme. Yin Yang. Expansion, contraction is my favorite, most abstract version of that. A lot of people use light dark, although that has some cultural references that are not PC these days. And so we shy away from that. Depth, shallow, contracted, expansive. So my sense is, because I have so much history with a lot of ancient texts within this lifetime in my studies, within consciousness studies and religions, the ancient Hebrews, the archaic Aramaic, when they talk about things and prayers and psalms, I'm particularly interested in the psalms these days, they are mentioning this effulgence. And that's what we hear in the later yoga texts. The effulgence of light within the Psalms. Yea, though I travel through the shadow of the valley of death, I have this light of love within me, and I lean upon the staff of Adonai, the light, the unspeakable, that which is, has been known. And there was a time where that ancient Hebrew spoke and recorded these prayers based upon traditions that came before them. We can look at the Vedas, all the different Vedas. The Rigveda in particular is a collection of, there are 4 Vedas, and within each there's sections, 4 sections. Within the Rigveda, we're mostly looking at hymns and prayers and incantations and blessings, speaking to Agni, speaking to the light, the fire that comes down and creates a bridge or a pathway from the density to the one, that which is the completion. This is the same thing. All these old texts that we have recorded, written, languaging for, this is what they're speaking to. Agni, Adonai. May we know this. May we experience this. May we lean on this. May this be our vehicle. It's interesting in a way, and a lot of, if you're an ancient Vedic scholar, you may cock an eye or a head at the Puranas, which are stories that help to explicate and give context to what is happening in these prayers, in these abstract somewhat abstract texts that we read, these Vedas, the Rigveda, was written in a trance-like state and was a channeling that described rituals. There's other sections of the Rigveda. Another section describes the rituals, the tasks that go along with these utterances. And the Puranas are what are descriptive, context-creating stories, written primarily for those who were not practicing, but those who had a more childlike mind, and almost for children, and a childlike understanding for these larger energetic divine movements that were gleaned and that were tapped into and adored and praised and beckoned into the 3D experience. What's interesting is that there is a time that speaks about, in the Puranas they speak about this. Is it true? Is it not true? For those of Puranic, childlike, basic 3D forgetting, the time of forgetting is the childlike time of lack of remembrance. They sprinkle in, like the sprinkles here, remembering that here we go in the Puranas in this time. The Puranas speak about the yugas, the yoga yugas. Nowhere else in Hindu texts do we hear about this. In the Vedic text, does not exist. This is a later understanding, a remembering, a holding on to a light as we go through this time of forgetting. That is all that the time of darkness is. That is all, quote unquote, the Kali Yugas are. Just a time of forgetting, knowing that this, they, I believe, had a sense that there would be an epic or series of epics, a time of forgetting. And we mention this quite a bit. And if we look at some of those old Psalms, the early Bible, which was really Judaic utterances of, yea, though I travel through the shadows in the valley of death, I have this light within me. I lean upon your staff, O Adonai. Oh, this is a remembrance as we move through the times of forgetting. These are peppered in through all of these ancient traditions, the Psalms of the Judaic Bibles and early Christian Bibles, and the Vedas. It's peppered throughout. Remembering. Remember, because there will come a time where we are in the age of remembrance. In that interim time, in the age of forgetting, it is a necessary, the forgetting, I'm going to bring it back to what I was speaking about at the beginning, this time of contraction. Forgetting is the contraction. Remembering is the expansion. During the contraction, lean upon the staff. Have that Ishvari Pranidhana. If you're a Hatha Yoga yogi and you rely upon those limbs of yoga, you know Ishvari Pranidhana is remembrance of divinity, God remembrance. Another sliver, another peppered remembrance as we go through the density, the embracing of the 3D, so that there will be a time that we are just entering into. Make no mistake, in time-space reality, there's a lot that comes after this. There's a lot. We are just at the inkling. Some people call it the age of Aquarius. Again, entering the Piscean age. And then leaving the Piscean age, just the beginning, where there will be no more remembering, because it will be as it once was, just the is. It will be just the is until that point We praise, we lean upon the staff. We praise the fire that is our chariot to the next. There is one Vedic, my favorite Gayatri mantra. It's more of a mantra. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. So beautiful to chant that over and over again. It's one of the most famous and anchoring phrases of the Rigveda. And in speaking of anchoring, it talks about the Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha Tatsavetu Varenyam. It speaks about that effulgence of light, the abstract. Look, it's sparkling on my eyes. And may it, what that phrase speaks about is, may it come into my density. May that knowing expansion bless my contraction in every action taken on this path as I go through the shadow and the valley of death, of forgetting, of the not knowing, of the density. They're all speaking and they're all pointing at the same things and the same actions. This exists, the effulgence exists, the light exists. For a time, we are in contraction and forgetting. The ancients left reminders so that we could hold on to them as we go through these eons and eons for however long it needs to last. So we have little threads to hold on to so that it will carry us through into a time where we no longer need these threads. And until that point, we remember until we no longer need to remember, because we are the I am in manifestation. And so it is. This is our larger context for all that is. How this manifests in our day-to-day life is an interesting thing. We can get as contracted as we like with it, and as expanded as we like with it. Until those moments come when it's easy to live fully in that remembering as a Christ, as a Christed one, as a Buddha, as one that is lit and remembered from within. We do day by day. And that is my offering for Energy Geek Speak for today. This is the grand context that we were told, it has been spoken of. And now we are living it until we are no longer living it. And we have tools. We do have tools. And yay, so it is. Mwah! Blessings upon you. Visit my Love Evolve Energy YouTube page, because there will be, YouTube channel. There'll be a link below, because there will be guided meditations that speak about, in fact, there is one already, that speak about an adaptation for light workers. These ancient gleanings, these ancient texts. The one that I have up there now is a mantra is a hymn from the Rigveda. Rigveda, that calls back your energies into the present time. So look for that there. I think the image is lots of orange dots and a candle and maybe a seashell or something like that. All right, that's all I have for you today. Check out the links below. Check out the other light workers that are speaking on this channel, this group channel of Evolve Within Love, and look for some interviews. Dee Jankowski is going to be offering some interviews with all of us and others pretty soon. All right. Much love to you, and courage within the light. Blessings.